Once Human's genuinely one of the best games that I've played in a long time. It's an extremely engaging open world post-apocalyptic game.
This thing, why? What?
That just dragged me into it. Once Human is an amazingly engaging open world post-apocalyptic game that has came out for free in the last few weeks. It brings a new twist on the MMO genre with its weird zombies and creative and unique bosses. And I think we've genuinely needed it with the redundancy that we've been having lately with video games. Every MMO being such a major flop since World of Warcraft seems to have set the standards so unbelievably high, releasing back in 2004. It's a genuinely creepy yet refreshing take. You start out by choosing either a player versus environment or player versus player world, depending on your play style, giving you the option of whether or not you want to compete with other players. The landscape is absolutely gorgeous. Although a tad bit basic, it does seem like your run-of-the-mill beachfront desert options and snowy mountains and wide open plains that you would see in every other MMO out right now. Although it does have this snowy area that I haven't even really been to yet because the game is releasing in segments, meaning that there is currently content that I cannot access and areas of the map that I cannot reach yet, because every week they open up a new area, a new continuation of the storyline. I don't know if this is a way that the company sees to keep people engaged, coming back weekly, that way you can continue the storyline, or if they just need more time to flesh out the rest of it and they wanted to release the product early. We're currently sitting at week 3 of the 6-week event that they're running at the moment, and I'm going to be honest, the idea of stopping where I'm at and waiting an entire week for them to release the next boss drives me up the wall. At the moment, I'm grinding out my gear to max level and just stockpiling as much tungsten ammo as I can, but not being able to physically see if I'm going to even struggle with it or if I'm over preparing because I have to wait. It's not the best implementation of this system, but I am interested to see how it works out, and maybe it will work out in the long run by maintaining the current player count on the servers, by enticing people to come back next week and see what boss they decide to add. And speaking of bosses, the bosses in the game are all unique and creepy, offer a certain amount of replayability, and I didn't mind going back to grind out for Starcrum because I knew that I could learn each boss's pattern and that I would have no issue in the fight once I got good enough at it. Almost like a Dark Souls, but with zombies and guns. Upgrading your gear felt fluid, like you were never forced to stop and grind out materials in order to progress, which helped the pacing in the game seem fun. In some areas I was under-leveled and it became challenging to take on bosses. In other areas I was on level and the bosses seemed almost easy, but the mechanics helped to keep it in line. Overall, the progression in the game really does feel like it was very well thought out and planned. And then we have deviant hunting. Feels almost like a form of Pokemon. You have these deviants around the world that have unique powers and abilities, and you have to go out and collect them all to feel like the very best, like no one ever was. Whether it's a little Digby boy that goes around and collects ore for you, or it's a giant dinosaur that helps cook your food and on top of that gives you buffs. I've yet to collect all the deviants that are in the game. I know that there's not as many as there are Pokemon in the Pokemon games, but there's still enough that it keeps me interested in looking around. Whenever I see a unique boss or a new area, I check to see if there's a deviant nearby. One of the main things that's been keeping my focus in the game is base building. I could just waste hours building the perfect base and getting the perfect setup going. I love being able to not only customize my area, but to customize how and where I put my resources and what exactly I'm putting them into. This game has an extremely fluid base design system. You could spend and waste hours just tweaking the smallest details, and none of it takes too many materials, which takes away too much time from playing the actual game itself. You can get the materials to build an entire base in maybe less than 30 minutes and then start building the base and be done within the hour. You could throw together some shitty base and just get right to doing the rest of the game. Like, nothing's stopping you or halting you. You can progress in this game how you want. Did I waste way too much time on my streams building a base? Absolutely. I'm not gonna lie, out of the 40 hours I probably streamed this game, at least 20 of it is just base building. But as a personal choice, that is one of the things that I really do enjoy about games like this. The gameplay when it comes to working with teams and working together to get resources is absolutely phenomenal. It's well done and well put together. You can jump in with teammates, secure a silo, secure a refinery point, or take on bosses together super easily and fluid through the menu. Altogether, the game is just very well put together. It makes for an extremely enjoyable experience, albeit with a cup of salt, as some of the gameplay when it comes to the crossbows and the sniper rifles seems to not really hit its target in a very weird way. I thought it was more goofy than anything else and didn't really take away from the overall game, just something I noticed while I was playing. Of course, the last thing to bring up is going to be the battle pass. I do see it as like a necessary evil, although I don't see it as evil in this game. The devs themselves do need to bring in some sort of income so that they can afford to pay people to work on the game. So microtransactions and battle passes were going to wind up in the game regardless. But the one thing I do appreciate about it is that they don't add anything of substance to it. It is just cosmetics. You're not going to get any physical items. You're not going to get anything that's going to change the gameplay itself. You are just getting cosmetics and a couple of items that you can build, like furniture for your house, although they don't give you anything that's functional for your house. So nothing that's going to add like an extra storage or anything extra that's going to give you a boost. The battle pass is purely cosmetic, but I do enjoy the variety that they give you and the fact that they do give you the option to purchase it. It's weirdly almost taboo to say that a battle pass is a good thing, but in my opinion, in this case, I do believe that it is a good thing. Unfortunately, this game is not without fault. There's a lot of controversies that came out about privacy concerns with the user agreement, with seasonal wipes being an interesting yet controversial choice, and of course the biggest one being that cosmetics are not transferable between characters currently, although one YouTuber who has been covering it, Thor, I will leave a link for his YouTube channel in the comments because he is one of my favorite YouTubers at the time, said that he was in conversation with one of the developers of the game who said that they were openly working to not only fix that, but to correct some of the other wrongs and to sort of bridge the gap between developers and community. They seem very interested in being open and honest with their community and hearing feedback, which is a good thing. That is so unique to MMOs. That's unique to the gaming sphere entirely. You don't see that with AAA games nowadays, and I think that is an amazing point, and that is an amazing thing for a company to do. But just like other failed MMOs who have also promised this new world, we have to wait and see if they're going to keep with their promise or if this is all just empty talk at the moment. In keeping with the theme of the title of the video, I'm going to keep my optimism up and hope that they do exactly what they are promising that they will do. I'm going to give the game itself an 8 out of 10 rating, and that's almost entirely based on the belief that I have that they're going to continue to reach out and continue to make amends, and then on top of that, continue to listen to their community. Of course, a game like this could easily drop from an 8 out of 10 to a 2 out of 10 if they pull a new world and stop listening to not only the community, but starting to implement those shitty business tactics that we have all become too familiar with nowadays, focusing heavily on microtransactions and pay to win. Where it currently sits is heavily up to debate depending on the person you ask, but for me, I give it an optimistic 8 out of 10. Let me know your opinion in the comments, and I'll see you next time.